November 2022, the Bahamas. Sam Bankman-Fried, wearing shorts and a t-shirt, stands on the balcony of his $40 million villa. At the same time, thousands of users of the FTX crypto exchange around the world are unable to log into their accounts. Their balances are wiped out. Within days, a platform trusted by millions vanishes, along with more than $8 billion in customer funds. Financial news headlines flash across the screens. The biggest collapse in crypto history. Investors panic, markets tumble, major funds announce massive losses. But Sam stays silent. For the first time in years, no interviews, no public statements. This is the story of the biggest crash in the history of crypto. A scam disguised as altruism, and one genius who promised to save the world but ended up robbing it. 2017, Sam Bankman-Fried, an MIT graduate and former trader at Jane Street, decides traditional finance is too slow. He dives into crypto, convinced he can exploit the volatility. Together with a few friends and his girlfriend, he launches Alama Research, a crypto trading firm profiting from exchange arbitrage.
Bitcoin is trading at $10,000 on a US exchange, $11,000 on a Japanese exchange. You take $10 million, you buy at $10,000, you sell at $11,000, you make $1 million, and we were able to do that every weekday.
Within months, the company is pulling in millions. But for Sam, it's just the beginning. In 2019, he launches FTX, a platform he promises will be a safe, efficient, and transparent exchange for crypto assets. Unlike its competitors, FTX is designed for professional traders. It rapidly expands, rolling out features no one else has. The interface, infrastructure, and marketing all feel like a mature financial institution. But Sam keeps playing the oddball genius, sleeping in the office, walking barefoot, giving interviews in a coffee-stained t-shirt. His image as a billionaire who doesn't care about money becomes more effective than any PR campaign.
The guy you see next to me is the most generous billionaire in the world.
Hi, my name is Sam, and this is my story.
Sam is 29 years old only, but Sam has $22 billion. And he wants to donate all of it to charity. But why?
Well, for many reasons.
FTX grows at breakneck speed. By mid-2021, it processes tens of billions of dollars in daily trades. By the end of the year, it's valued at $32 billion. Major investors jump on board: Sequoia, SoftBank, BlackRock. The public buys into the idea of a crypto exchange led by a philosopher, not a businessman. On stage, Sam preaches effective altruism, a philosophy that says the wealthy should donate most of their fortune to make the world better. He claims he's ready to earn billions just to give it all away to fight global risks, climate change, and bioethics causes.
So let's say that you have $100 and you want to figure out what you can do with it to help the world. Earning to Give is thinking about which causes, which charities save the most lives per dollar. This $100 can go as far as it possibly can to help the world.
He appears on the covers of Fortune and Forbes, speaks at international forums, testifies before Congress.
The industry has the potential to improve a lot of people's lives.
Shares a stage with Bill Clinton and meets with politicians. But behind the scenes, the largest trust violation in crypto history is already unfolding. While the world celebrated FTX as the ethical exchange of the future, another company, Alama Research, had been operating quietly in the background. Technically, they were separate. FTX was a public exchange with millions of users. Alameda was a private hedge fund. But in reality, they were one business controlled by Sam Bankman-Fried and his inner circle, running by their own secret rules. After FTX launched, Alameda was granted special privileges. It traded on the platform without risk limits or restrictions, and had access to unlimited credit invisible to other users. This was enabled by a hidden backdoor that allowed Alameda to withdraw funds with no approvals. Over the years, billions were siphoned directly from FTX customer accounts through this channel. Alameda made massive losses on speculative trades. In some months, the losses reached into the billions, but instead of stopping, they kept betting. And to cover the holes, Sam let them use customer money, funds people thought were safely stored on FTX. Publicly, FTX looked solid. The company issued its own token FTT, artificially inflating its price and using it as collateral for loans. But this was phantom liquidity. If the token collapsed, everything would fall apart, and Sam knew it. Alameda wasn't just trading. It was also investing heavily in stocks, startups, and other assets. By 2022, it held stakes in over 475 companies. Among the most notable, Anthropic, $500 million invested. Skybridge Capital, Miston Labs, Yuga Labs, Near Protocol, Axie Infinity, Anchorage Digital, Reddit, Layer Zero, Ledger, and Sequoia Capital. Most of these were bought using FTX customer funds. That became one of the core reasons for the collapse. Money was spread across hundreds of illiquid ventures that existed only on paper. Some investments were made for influence, others for speculation, pumping token values to use them as collateral. A few had political motives, tied to Web3 ecosystems. Meanwhile, FTX was burning hundreds of millions on branding. In 2021, they signed a 19-year, $135 million deal for naming rights to the Miami Heat's arena, renamed FTX Arena. Then came the 2022 Super Bowl. FTX ran a viral ad featuring Larry David.
No king! Gentlemen, have you taken leave of your senses?
The people shall have the right to vote.
Even the stupid ones?
Yes!
Stupid people vote?
Yes!
Ha!
The message, don't miss out on crypto, and the 30-second spot cost $6.5 million.
It's FTX. It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto.
I don't think so. And I'm never wrong about this stuff. Never.
FTX spent over $250 million on luxury villas in the Bahamas, tens of millions more on private jets, donations, and over $100 million on political campaigns. Officially, these were operating expenses. In reality, they were living large on customer money. Every flight, every speech, every viral campaign paid for by depositors. By mid-2022, Alameda had an $8 billion hole. Things got worse when they lost heavily on Terra USD in May 2022, a stablecoin that crashed. Check out my separate video on that crypto disaster. Link in the description. In total, Alameda withdrew over $10 billion in customer funds from FTX without consent. But the market still believed in FTX, until one leaked document changed everything. On November 2nd, 2022, CoinDesk publishes Alameda's internal balance sheet. It turns out most of its assets are FTT tokens, created by FTX itself. In other words, the company was holding billions in self-issued numbers, no cash, and no real liquidity. And just days later, the world's biggest crypto genius becomes the face of its most massive fraud. Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao reacts instantly. He announces Binance will sell all of its FTT tokens. Officially, he cites recent revelations, referring to the leaked balance sheet. But there's more. This was also a chance to take down his biggest rival. And when the vulnerability appeared, Zhao didn't hesitate. His tweet sparks panic, and users rush to withdraw their funds. FTX insists everything's fine, but it's a lie. Withdrawal requests cross several billion dollars, and FTX freezes, transfers fail. The platform stops responding. Sam tweets, FTX is fine, assets are safe. But within hours, he realizes it's over. In 72 hours, Sam's crypto empire collapses. He scrambles to save it, calling investors and begging Binance for a buyout. But after a quick audit, Binance walks away, and that's when Sam breaks. Employees say he turns silent, avoids eye contact, stops sleeping, won't answer questions, and sits staring at his laptop for hours without typing. His inner circle distances themselves, and colleagues who once called him a genius begin cutting deals with prosecutors. After a while, Sam began giving interviews.
I don't think that I did, I don't think I tried to commit fraud anywhere here. I was trying to do the best I could. Obviously, that wasn't nearly as good as I thought it was.
He tried to make excuses to FTX clients, but he buried himself deeper and deeper.
And the generous view is that you are a young man who made a series of terrible, terrible, very, very bad decisions. The less generous view is that you have committed a massive fraud, that this is a Ponzi scheme, a manipulation of the system.
If Alameda is borrowing the money that belongs to FTX depositors, that's a bright red line, isn't it?
There are a lot of cases where that's actually explicitly part of the programs and that are
but
happening.
Not
and
here.
people are
Here it
opting.
says that the digital assets may not be loaned to FTX trading. They can't be loaned out.
There existed a borrow lending facility on FTX. And I think that's probably covered, I don't remember exactly where, but somewhere else in the terms of service.
But they'd have to approve of that. They're saying they didn't approve of it here. They're saying you approved of it.
On November, FTX files for bankruptcy. According to investigators, less than $1 billion remained against over $10 billion in liabilities. The next month, Sam is arrested in the Bahamas and extradited to the US, where one of the decade's biggest financial trials begins. He's found guilty on all counts: fraud, conspiracy, and investor fund manipulation. In March 2024, he's sentenced to 25 years in prison. But the story doesn't end there. Against all odds, FTX customers don't lose everything. Liquidators begin recovering assets. Crypto left behind like Solana, and Bitcoin surges in value. A stake in the AI company Anthropic brings in another $1.3 billion. Venture investments, cash on hand, Robinhood shares, startup equity. It all adds up to more than $14.5 billion. By February 2025, the first customers begin receiving reimbursements. By summer 2025, all payouts are expected to be complete. Official reports say most customers will get 100% of their lost funds back. Some even more, up to 118% thanks to crypto price increases. It's a rare ending in the world of financial fraud, and definitely not the one anyone expected when the collapse first began. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, consider joining through YouTube membership. And as always, like and subscribe for more. Thank you.